So high ticket sales is dying. It's never been more saturated than it is right now. And if you're someone who's trying to get into this industry, it's pretty much impossible to do so right now. And I remember a couple of years ago when I started off in this industry. I'm a like OG, if you want to call that, in the high ticket sales space. I've been in the space for over 3 years now. When I first started off in this industry, you could literally just go out and send a DM to a business owner. And if you did that to like 10 different businesses, you would get at least one response and you would land that role. Nowadays, you could be sending out hundreds of DMs, barely getting seen by a single freaking influencer, and then struggling to even land one role after months of doing outreach. I see this firsthand because I have guys come to me that have been trying to get into this industry for like months or even a year at this point and struggling to land a good role because it's so freaking saturated. There's so many people right now. You need to understand there's so many young guys that are trying to get into high ticket sales, trying to land a role because they've been sold the dream of getting freedom and making 10K per month from high ticket sales. I think it's all sunshine and rainbows. They go out and they DM a business owner with the most basic generic DM script. And they never even get seen. If this is you right now, stop doing this shit. I'm gonna tell you why most people will never succeed in this industry and why this industry is kind of falling apart right now. What I'm doing, what I'm teaching my students to do to actually have a chance of success in this industry in the long term. Because you need to understand, like, why is this industry getting so saturated? Why are so many people getting into high ticket sales? It's not what you think it is. It's not because it's a pipe dream and you're like just hoping that you can make money from it. No, it's because you can actually make money. There's money to be made in high ticket sales. That's why so many people are getting into it. But as a result of so many beginners without any experience, without any sales knowledge, without any like IQ, to be honest, are trying to get into this, the barrier to entry into good opportunities, into good roles we can actually make 10, 20K per month, like I've been doing, is getting a lot higher. You need to be better to get into this industry. That's how market saturation works. When more people flood into opportunity, when something gets saturated, what happens? It doesn't make it harder to make more money. It doesn't mean that there's no money to be made in this industry. What it means is like the barrier to actually get into this becomes higher. That is all. That is why if you're out there right now, you're DMing business owners, you're trying to just mass DM people that sell high ticket offers on social media. That is not the way to go anymore. That is just putting you in the same category as all of these beginners who have zero experience, who are doing the bare minimum, sending out a DM script, hoping to magically land a 10K per month role. My students right now, that I work with inside of my inner circle, they're landing roles left and right. I had a guy recently who landed a role with a top tier offer, left his hometown, started making money online quickly, and he was starting with no experience. He hadn't done sales before. He wasn't special. He didn't have some crazy connections. He did it solely by knowing who to reach out to, how to not end up in the same category as 99% of people trying to get into high tech sales right now. You have two different options. Either you just go out, you do the brain rot approach, if I would call it that. You just blast out messages, hope to get seen by someone. Yes, volume. You send out thousands of outreach. I've seen people that send out over 1,000 DMs and messages and still don't land a role. That is option number one, because this industry is getting hella saturated. There's money to be made, but there's so many beginners that are fucking up this industry. And all these business owners, they're getting DMs from people that have zero experience and they're just like getting tired of even looking at these DMs. That is option number one. You go out and just do that and you hope something's gonna work. Option number two, the way to actually get good roles moving forward, the way that I'm doing stuff, the way that my students are landing roles right now, is what I call targeted, specific outreach into an ocean that is clear, where there's no competition, almost no competition. Obviously, there's gonna be some competition, but way less competition than there is in this other pond where everyone is doing stuff right now. What am I talking about? Is reaching out to the people that are running the back end of these offers. How the info and the high ticket sales industry works is you have these influencers that are the face outward for brands. They have a huge following, they make content, and those people get bombarded with DMs from, hey man, I want to be an appointment setter. Hey man, I want to come close for you. Do not reach out to them. However, these people also have a sales manager, a growth operator, someone who runs the back end of their business, basically the person who's responsible for leading their entire team, they have a small following on social media. They maybe have 1,000, 2,000 followers on Instagram, but they have access to the entire business. They run the entire business. They run the back end, they hire the sales team, they hire the appointment setters, the closers, they do everything, but they're hidden. Like, you don't know who they are. And because of that, they're not gonna have a flooded DM. They're not gonna have an inbox that's full of appointment setters from some like third world country trying to land a role, or people that have zero experience and are kind of retarded. They're not gonna have that. These are the people you need to be targeting. If you can just get in touch with one of these people, not only do they have one offer, but they usually manage maybe like 2 or 3 different offers. If you reach out, you go to Instagram right now and you find someone who's a growth operator, you find someone who's a sales manager, it might be a bit more tricky to find. I'll give you a way you can do it in a second. But if you find one of these people, you DM them, you show up in a good way. You're not this retarded AI following and this like scripted person. You actually are a genuine person. Like, you show up in an authentic way. You need to be authentic and real. If you do that, reach out to these people, you will get responses. And if you get into that network, if you get in touch with one of these people, one connection can allow you to get multiple killer roles with these companies. How do we find these people? How do you find one of these growth operators? You go on Instagram, you search for someone who is a growth operator. You find someone who runs a program teaching people how to become growth operators. You look at their testimonials, you will find a bunch of these people, you reach out to them, and that's how you get into these empty oceans where no one is competing with you. Hopefully it's valuable. If you want my coaching, my one-on-one help to get into high ticket sales, actually get trained up, actually get placed in an offer from my own network, and get coached to actually succeed from me one-on-one, you can apply. We could call down below this video. If you have any questions or want advice, DM on Instagram. Don't be the stupid guy who goes out and tries to DM and becomes part of this massive pond of people that are just getting stuck. Be smart. Do what I told you to do. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.